Hello everybody, welcome back to Waffles RC. If you're new here, what we do is work with a lot of metal and we build RCs that are very heavy. Theory that I have is I want to build stuff that I want to build, and I'm not looking to do competitions or anything like that. This is all just trying to have fun with the hobby. Fun for me is building very unique vehicles and just generally having a lot of fun with them. So, on that note, today's video is brought to you by absolutely nobody. I have no sponsors. I think that keeps me down to earth, which is what everybody seems to like, and that's what I like. And since I'm building my own RCs and kind of talking against the big ones, I don't think I'll really ever get sponsored. But we're here. I'm going to get to welding. I'm going to get back to work on the hauler. So my editor was just informing me that everybody's been asking about a parts list or links for the parts that I'm going to be using or that I have used on this truck. And as you can tell, he's very upset about it. But he did let me know. And just to let you guys know, I will be putting a parts list together. Oh, now he's trying to get away. I will put a parts list together for everybody so that they know exactly where to get the parts that they want off of this truck. I just want to have everything all done and together before I bring the parts list out in case something doesn't work. I don't want you guys to go out and buy parts that don't work or last. So just bear with me. I will bring all the parts. So what we're starting with is the battery box from the hauler and my little gas tanks. I'm going to notch the bottom of this out so that way it clears the lift servos for the bed. Then I'm going to flush these into it after I notch it. Flush them in there so that way it kind of tucks up, hides those, and we are going for scale points by having gas tanks. Because I'm judging myself on scale points. So we're going to do this here real quick, put it on a time lapse, and then move on to the next part of the build. There's the battery box. Got the notches there for the rams as they come up. So that way it should clear this. I may have to trim it up later. But got our little gas tanks on. And look at that. I even did a gas cap. It's just a nut that I welded on there, but it looks like a gas cap. Remember, scale points. That's what we're going for my own competition that I'm doing with myself. And there it is with the cab on it. A little bit of a gap there. I don't really mind it. Everything looks really nice. Bed goes up and down just like it should. That cab is so cool. But there's one other thing that I want to do to it. Well, two things. And can anybody guess what it is? Stacks. You're right. Let's do stacks. So this is what I'm going to be using. It is 1/2 inch hollow. You get the idea. Everything needs stacks. It's probably one way I can cover up the gap a little bit, but either way, we're going to put stacks on it because everything needs stacks. There are some stacks. Did one on the other side as well, but let's see what it looks like with the body on there. See if I measured correctly. Oh yeah, I didn't measure. Look at that. got some stacks on there, and welded them to the frame so you can pick them up by it. And that is removable still. See, welded to the frame. There's inside the cab. Well, we just put that back where it goes. And we got stacks and gas tanks. Still have to trim the top of this level and put a lid on it, all that stuff. For anybody wondering, I'm adding this stuff to this truck because I think it looks cool. Right now I'm just adding accessories, or also known as weight. This thing is not going to have anything to do with competitions. It's just going to be fun. So I'm adding a lot of stuff to it because I can, honestly. Anything that comes up, I'm just going to keep adding stuff to it. And by comes up, I mean whatever my imagination comes up with. I'm just going to keep putting it on this thing. Anybody worried about the weight? I don't really care. It's going to be heavy. We'll see how it does. I mean, it could do really well. Who knows? But it's going to be heavy. So might as well just have fun with it. I'm going to need a lot of channels for a controller because I have some fun ideas for the trailer as well. Also did want to just say a very quick thank you to everybody who subscribed. I started this channel just to show my friends and family the weird stuff that I'm doing with my RCs. So the fact that this channel has gotten over 2,000 subscribers as of today, which is Saturday the 3rd of January. I know 2,000 subscribers doesn't sound like a lot, but for somebody who started it just to have fun and to have 2,000 subscribers, it's absolutely insane. I can't believe that this is where we're at and this is the stuff that I'm making. Now, if I didn't have the channel, I'd still be making this stuff. It's just good to have it on film, I guess, so that everybody else can see what you can do with not a big budget and just a bunch of metal and a welder and a grinder. Just wanted to say thank you again. I really appreciate everybody. It's still astounding to me. So on my long list of things that I have to do on this truck, I thought I'd just play around, put the front grille and bumper on, and the front shocks that I'm going to run on this. There are no springs in it. So the reason why I do that is because I want all the accessories and everything on there. So that way, once it's all on there, if I put everything on and it just collapses it and it sits too low, then I'll either put stiffer springs in it or move the mounts, whatever I need to do to get it to sit where I need it to sit. This one is most likely going to need stiffer springs inside of the shocks, but we'll find out once I'm done accessorizing this truck, because I am nowhere near done with random stuff to put on it. There's a hint. Okay, so as most of you know, that is a servo with a servo horn. And as you can tell, it's on the back of the truck. My goal is to try and make a pendulum style hitch that can deploy using this servo to automatically hitch and unhitch the trailer, because I don't feel like getting on the ground, disconnecting the trailer every time I want to lift this bed and get a car on and off of it. So this is what I've come up with. This is what I'm going to try. So my whole goal with this truck is to do weird, crazy stuff that isn't normally... Thought I heard something. My goal with this truck is to do stuff that's different, out there. Just, I'm basically experimenting to see how crazy can I really get with an RC car. That's what I like to do. As you can tell by all my other ones, I like to push the limits, push the boundaries, see if I can do it. But you can't get upset if something doesn't work, like my adjustable suspension. Still got a few things rolling around in my head, but we'll see how that goes. But this whole trailer hitch idea, really hope it works out. But the only way to figure out is to try it. And if it doesn't work, then I'll figure out something else. This is what I've come up with so far. Get it where you can probably see it. So you just see this square thing, but it goes up like that. And then you want it to hook up to a trailer, bring it like that. That's the theory so far. Gonna see if this works out and put a servo on here, connect it, see if I can get the right throw. It's looking promising so far. This is what I've come up with. Have a servo right here, hooked to some links to a little pendulum hook thing. So basically what it's going to do, obviously with electricity, not my finger, it'll go like that. Bring the trailer in right on there, and you hit the switch on the remote, bring it up, lock it into place right against the back of the frame. Hoping that that's going to be strong enough. Seems like a good idea so far. We'll see once everything's, on and working, but notched out the frame, added this piece, made some brackets right there and there. That ain't going nowhere. That is my trailer hitch idea. So I'll just have to make a bolt or something that this can hook into. I'll probably have to do a bit more trimming on it, but we'll make it work once we start building the trailer and have the hitch on the trailer. We'll have to match it up with that. See, I told you I welded them to the frame, so when there's no body on it, you just have these two stacks. I think it's funny. So obviously it got dark trying to do this trailer hitch idea, so we'll get back on it in the morning. I will not do the snap thing. I totally forgot. I'm gonna forget again, so just next clip. We were back the next day. I have this hanging down here because I noticed in this thing, it's at full bump right there. That thing's at a pretty sharp angle, so all I'm going to do is cut this off, lower it down a bit, probably try to drill another hole next to it, so that way I can get this track bar down a little bit lower, because that's at full extension. Obviously it doesn't reach very well. Just gotta lower this down a little bit. It's not pretty. I do have a plan. I'm not just gonna leave some giant tab like that. That lowered the track bar down lower, so that's at full extension. So fully compressed. Now I have to change the track bar, but it's much better. Now I'll get full articulation out of this, which is kind of what I want. And that right there, everybody, is why I only tack weld everything until I have it perfectly fine. That piece up there, that piece for the track bar would have been fully welded in. I would have had to cut it really off, grind the heck out of it. But I just had to cut 2 tacks, came right off, made a new one, added some bars just for some flair and stability, but not fully functional, but I think it looks fun. Now I can go full extension on the shocks. No issues. It's going to help with articulation. A little bit. Shock's hitting up here, so I got to space that out a little bit more. See? It's all about finding the issues first, fixing them before you put it all together. So that's my lesson for this. If you're fabricating something like this with metal, welding, all this stuff, just tack weld it. Don't go full on thinking it's going to be perfect, because you're going to have to make revisions. And don't get upset either when something doesn't work correctly. You're making something from scratch. Just can't let it get to you that much. Put it all together, have fun with it. Sorry, I forgot to show that I made some little tabs also, very difficultly. And luckily, this thing sits in here perfectly. So now I have the steering arm. Most likely going to have to cut that. The rule of thumb when it comes to your steering arm and your track bar arm, it's the same in RCs as it is in the big cars. You want your steering arm to be about the same length and on the same angle as your track bar. That's for if you do want to go fast, which this thing won't, to help with bump steer. So I'll probably mount it up to this top hole right here, cut this bottom one off, because that is in line with the track bar mount. Then that'll go from here down to the steering. So I'm going to have it mounted up here. Main thing is to have where your steering arm mounts on this steering arm or steering horn. It's called a pitman arm in the big car world. On the pitman arm right here, you want it to be at the same height. So that's why I have this lowered down into the frame a little bit instead of up high. And it just helps with steering angle at full droop. All right, so that is where we're at for this weekend. Got the front axle and then in there, got the cab on, got the grill on. That looks kind of cool. Of course, we got our stacks, our battery box with our little gas tanks and our fake gas cap. Bed kind of stayed the same, didn't do much with that. But then we also did the trailer hitch on the servo. Did that. So made some good progress this weekend. What I have to do now, I have to take these axle housings out of the truck and I got to put all the internals in them. So just a heads up for everybody who is buying Traxxas TRX4 knockoff, keyword there, knockoff. If you are buying these, most of them come empty. So you either have to have the internals from a TRX4, or in my case, since I bought all of these, they didn't come with any internals, so I had to buy a bunch of the internals, like all the portal gears, axle shafts. The only things I didn't have to buy were the center sections, like the pinion and the differential. I didn't have to buy, I only had to buy one of those because I have 3 axles. My TRX Bronco, that one I did upgrades on it, so it's got overdrive gears front and rear. So it's got different gears on it, and it's got a spool in the back, and I'm going to take the locking mechanism out of the front to put into the tow truck. I kept the rear locking differential piece, which is going to go into this truck. Never throw parts away. Trust me. That is why you never throw parts away. That's not only my hardware bin, but that's where I keep all my spare parts. I mean, I still have the factory shocks off of my TRX4. Don't ever throw parts away. You never know when they're going to come in handy. So, off camera, I'm just going to put all these internals in. Nobody really wants to see that. I'm sure there's tons of videos out there that have them, or have people doing that. So, I'll put all the internals in. Next week, I'm going to keep working on this bed, try and get it finished up, like I said I was going to do in this video, but my crazy ideas got the better of me. We'll keep working on the bed, get it cleaned up, get some sheet metal on it, and just keep plugging away on this thing. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do dually tires or dually wheels with wheels that aren't specifically for being a dually. I have a trick that I use. Those wheels are not dually specific. They are just some beadlock wheels that I made it so that they could be dualies. Hope everybody has a great week. Thank you very much for watching and subscribing. Really appreciate it once again. The fact that we're over 2,000. Hold on a second. One second. So like I said earlier, the fact that I started this channel just for friends and family and didn't think it was going to do much other than just have some fun. The fact that we're at 2,044 subscribers as of whatever today is, it's not a big number, but it's big for me, and I really appreciate it. See you on the next one. Keep working away on this thing.